Hi guys, welcome to my video and my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about spiders again. And I know we have been talking a lot about spiders, but spiders are awesome and I need them for my game, right? So I have two new spider types I want to show you guys in this video. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee and some popcorn and let's begin. Okay guys, as some of you might know, I have been diving into Midjourney lately, which is this AI program that can create images for you when you just type in some words. It's super simple, but it's absolutely insane what this program can create of images. It's nuts. It's completely mind-blowing to me that I can just type in some words and it will create this awesome art, right? And it's super valuable for a game developer like me who cannot draw anything and have a hard time coming up with concepts for the game, how stuff will look like gaming assets, characters and enemies and things like that. I can't draw it, so I always rely on Google or Pinterest to find the stuff I want to build for my game, right? Because I just can't think it up myself. I am not that good that I can just sit down, come up with awesome ideas, draw them on paper and then build them and put them into my game. I can't do that. I'm sorry, I'm not that good. So, I mean, naturally I started to type in things that is relevant for the game I'm making, like treasure chests, weapons and shields and armors, and trying to come up with different enemy types that I have been thinking about I want in my game, like rats, right? The main enemy in the game are these armored rat men. So I've been trying to make Midjourney give me some awesome looking rat men, right? I also thinking about creating some awesome looking mushroom men to put in my game as enemies, and even frog enemies with spears. I mean the whole idea with my game is that the enemies are kind of like animals, like in Disney's Robin Hood, right? All the characters are animals in there. And the enemies for my game will be things like bugs, spiders, beetles, things like that, and rats and frogs and wolves and crocodiles and awesome looking animals and insects. And guys, I have been getting some awesome looking frog warriors from Midjourney. They look absolutely insane, and just look at the quality of these images and the lighting and the rendering. Everything just looks absolutely phenomenal. But let's talk about these frog enemies in another video. Today we're here to talk about spiders. So long story short, I asked Midjourney to create spiders for me, and Midjourney created a ton of awesome looking spiders for me. It's absolutely mind-blowing how this is possible in such a short time to get such awesome looking spiders, right? So I'm completely blown away by programs like Midjourney. One of the spiders Midjourney created for me that I really love is this one you're seeing right here on the screen. This green bastard, this big green blobby body it has, which looks like it's filled with some toxic liquids. Absolutely disgusting, right? And then it has this dark, nasty looking head with these blisters growing on it. It looks disgusting, to be honest, but it also looks awesome. So I decided I wanted to try and build this spider for my game. Anyways, I need to get some more practice in Blender, and creating this spider in Blender is the perfect test case for me. I already have a spider, so I can just drag that model into Blender and use that as a base to create the new spider, right? So I already have something to start from, which is awesome. and I don't have a lot of experience with modeling and sculpting because it's not something I find very interesting to do. But I can take a shape in, and I can pull and push it in different direction, and I can draw some new mesh on top of it and remove some other mesh, and then roughly get the shape I want for this spider. And the details doesn't really matter because I'm going to decimate everything in the end to bring the poly count way down, so I'm going to lose a lot of details anyways. And if there's something that looks a little weird, then that will hopefully go away when I'm doing the decimate process, right? So it's not that scary to start working on this low poly spider. So I just started on this spider in Blender, right? I started with the back body, which was kind of obviously the easiest part to get started with, just creating a sphere and then just pushing and pulling it around till I got the kind of shape I want, and it's a pretty basic sphere shape it has, so it wasn't that difficult to get a spider back body sphere out of this. And the whole middle body part of this spider does not exist, so I didn't have to create that. All I had to do was a back body and then a head, right? So I again just made the rough shape on the head, and then just with this blob kind of brush, which could just make these weird blisters just by holding the button down to make a blister. It was pretty easy, to be honest. So I just made a lot of blisters on this face, and I mean, there's not a lot to it. And again, for the legs, I just wanted the legs to be a bit thicker than they already were. So I took that blob brush again and just brushed all over the legs just to make them thicker. And then I got all these random shapes from it because I'm using this brush. And at this point, I was just drawing left and right on these spider legs. I didn't really have any plan. I just wanted the legs to be thicker, right? So I just painted some mesh on top of the legs already. If something messed up, I would have no idea how to fix it with these sculpting tools. I have zero experience with sculpting. So unless I couldn't undo it, I had no way to fix the mistakes I was making, right? So it was kind of scary because I forgot to take a backup of these legs before I started sculpting. So I have this one material in Unreal Engine that I use for basically all characters in the game because it has this Fresnel effect on the edges of the characters, so you can see them in the dark, right? All the edges of the characters are always lighting up just a little, so you can always see them in the game. But I only have this one material that I kind of use for everything, so I needed to try and expand that material and create some illumination with some animated noise inside. And I mean, guys, I spent a lot of time on getting this simple little feature into this material because I mean, it's not easy. To me it's not easy. I don't understand half of what's going on in these materials, but I end up finding tutorials and then just following these tutorials and kind of trying to tweak stuff so it fits what I need, right? And it's a lot of trial and error, trust me. Nothing comes easy in creating anything for this game at all, and materials makes no sense to me. It's so confusing what's going on. So I just end up following tutorials, and after when the tutorial is done, I'm happy if I have created something in the direction of what I wanted. Jesus Christ, guys, this is I mean, I sound like a maniac when I talk about this, but that's the usual, right? That's how it always is. I'm just sitting here, have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, right? And for some reason, I get these cool things into the game anyways, and I don't know how. To be honest, I don't know how I have gotten this far with this game. It's a complete mystery to me because I don't know half of what's going on in the game. Anyways, somehow I ended up with this effect, and it's more luck than anything, as you can probably understand by now. And it's pretty cool to what I want and what I'm seeing when I look at this image. So in that regard, this spider so far is a pretty big success for me. Okay, so what is this new spider then? Well, it's obviously a poison themed spider. I mean, how can it not be, right? So I needed to make this into a poison spider that has specific poison attacks that only this spider could use. I created these poison eggs for the spider that, like the other spiders can lay eggs and then small spiders will come out of those eggs. This spider will lay poison eggs, which just right now looks like some poison poop of some sorts. And they kind of function just like a proximity mine. So when anything comes close to these poison eggs, they will explode and deal damage. It's super simple, guys. I mean, everything in my game is super basic and super simple. There's nothing new in here, you know, like a fireball is a fireball. A lightning strike is a lightning strike. A poison spider is a poison spider. It has poison attacks. This one has poison bombs. And of course, when this poison spider dies, it will explode in a big poison explosion, right? It's obvious. There's nothing new in this. And I don't want anything new in this game. I just want it to work really, really well. But I'm getting off topic again. Let's get back to the poison spider, right? I already had the functionality in the other spiders where they can lay an egg. And when a spider lays an egg in my game, it just spawns a new actor. And that new actor has all the functionality of the egg. So for the poison spider, I just needed it to be able to spawn something else than a regular spider egg, which is just another actor. I just needed to make that actor a variable, and then I could go into the poison spider, select that variable, and then put in a new poison actor, which is a poison bomb. And that means I have something that actually works in my enemy setup, right? I didn't have to copy a shit ton of code as I have done many times before. The code was already in the spider, and the poison spider is a child of the master spider, right? I just needed to expose which actor is going to get spawned when it uses the special ability, which is called lay eggs, right? The spider has a special ability that says lay eggs, and when that ability is chosen, I can select what type of egg do I want it to spawn. Another thing is that now that I see this spider in the game, I don't really think it works. I'm not sure if it's the visuals, the look of the spider, which I'm not really happy with. It looks very different than the other spiders. It could just be the way the poison eggs look also, right? They kind of stick out and they don't really fit the rest of the game, I think. And I also think maybe this new spider doesn't really fit the art of the game for some reason. So that's something I need to look into and see if I can change the spider model or change the poison eggs. I mean, the poison explosions are awesome. I spent quite some time on making these poison explosions and creating the sound also, and I think they sound absolutely fantastic. and they look pretty cool too when they explode, so that part I like, and I like the whole functionality of the poison bombs. It's just the spider just feels a little like it's coming from some other game. I'm not sure what it is. The other spider I want to talk about today is the infected spider, right? And I wasn't meant to make the infected spider like this. The infected spider was something that would, like the rats, infection would spawn randomly on the spider, and then it would have some new abilities and some new visuals which were put randomly on the spider. Does that make sense? Like these purple blobs and tentacles would spawn randomly around the spider to let the player know that it was infected, and then it would have a few infected themed attacks. But you know, since I made this poison spider, I got kind of excited and just started to kind of kit bash this new infected spider together like some kind of Frankenstein's monster, right? So I just put these tentacles and goo balls on the spider, and then I changed the poison eggs to be these tentacles that I have showed in an earlier video, which is an ability that Gorm has on the Cosmos glove, which I haven't talked much about. But since I already had the tentacle ability, I might as well just put it on this new infected spider, right? And get a new spider from that. I mean, to be honest, this was a horrible idea and I should never have done it this way. I created this infected spider in no time, and I ended up copying some code around, which is what I want to avoid, right? But I ended up doing it anyways because it was the fastest way to do it. I didn't have time to sit down and figure out my own system so I could make it the correct way, right? So I just bashed the spider together in no time. And also because it has always annoyed me that these other spiders could shoot out this purple goo ball, which is supposed to be the infected spiders only, but because I didn't have enough attacks for the spiders, so I just used this purple goo ball for some of the spiders to get some more interesting gameplay going, right? But the goo ball is supposed to be for the infected spider. Again, I made this infected spider super fast, and it got the goo ball attack where it shoots out a goo ball that will stay on the ground and deal damage over time, and then they will lay these eggs, which is not really eggs, these are just tentacles standing on the ground, and damages everything it hits. So it has two attacks which basically does the same thing, and that is not very interesting. They look different, the tentacles and the goo ball, but the gameplay function is the exact same, so it's not something I really want. But I made this infected spider anyways because I was kind of in the zone, so I just had to go on with it while I was at it. So the infected spider came out of nowhere. So at some point I need to go back and fix the infected spider so it will be created in the correct way. So right now that means that I have 2 new spiders in the game, which just makes the game, you know, more interesting and more fun to play. But again, as I said in the video before this, I have removed all enemies except for the spider enemy, and I need to make this spider enemy work flawlessly with the movement and the attacks and the whole AI before I start creating new enemy types, because having to, you know, juggle both the slime enemy and the rat enemy and the spider enemies at once, and I was constantly copying stuff from one enemy to another, and it was a complete mess in the end. So now we just focus on the spiders, and when those spiders are done, when I'm super satisfied with that, I will move on to one of the other enemy types. Guys, I think that is all I have for you in this video today. I have already talked for too long now about these spiders, and I mean talking a lot without really saying anything, right? But I'm trying to get back to my old way of doing video logs, where I kind of just talk from the heart what's going on inside my game, the challenges I have, all the stuff I can't figure out how it works, but it magically works anyways, right? Again, if you have gotten to this part of the video, you are super awesome, and I thank you very much for all the support you give me just by watching my videos. I really appreciate it. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Take good care of yourself and see you next time.